We were wondering if there was somebody's job, this is their full-time job, is to report on sports betting. And Paulie goes, yes, I know a guy, Todd Dewey. He works for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Because I'm curious what this means, all this gambling that's going to happen, sports gambling that's going to happen. But Todd just covers sports betting for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And Todd joins us now. Todd, how did you get that job?
First of all, thanks for having me, Dan. 5'10", a hard 235. Well, I've been with the Review-Journal for a while now, and I covered a bunch of different sports. And when Matt Humans, our former sports betting writer, joined Uncle Brent over at VSiN, they asked me to take over the sports betting beat, and I used to back up him a little, covering sports betting. And I'm a sports bettor from a long time ago, and yeah, it's kind of a dream job to have to cover sports betting. I wish it gave me a few more winners, but we're working on that.
Okay, but what do you cover in the world of sports betting?
Well, we cover the industry itself, and as far as all the action in Vegas, where the money's going, line moves, who the sharp bettors are on and the betting public is on. And then we also run contests with picks with local handicappers and media members. And, I have some handicappers making their picks as well. So just the full range from how the books do to how the players do, and try to make some picks along the way as well.
What's the worst bad beat you ever heard of?
The worst bad beat ever? Well, I know myself was the UConn-Duke game back in the Final Four when UConn was losing the whole game with the Mecca Okafor, and they covered the spread right at the end. And Chris Duhon raced up court to hit the half-court three-pointer to burn the spread. It had nothing to do with the result of the game. But, as you know, there's bad beats every week.
Oh, and that's I remember the bad beats than the great wins. But I always tell guys, if there's a bad beat for somebody, there's an unbelievable win for somebody else. So you hope it evens out. But, man, those bad beats, they stay with you for a long time. Your reaction...
Sure.
Your reaction to what happened with Congress, with the Supreme Court, with now legalized gambling, sports gambling. What's that mean? What's that mean for Vegas, first of all?
Well, I think it could help Vegas. Going back to Atlantic City, when they opened, people were saying Vegas, that will hurt Vegas. And the same thing when the proliferation of casinos across the country, they thought that would hurt the business in Las Vegas. But it's only increased the business in Vegas. And the same thing with sports betting. A lot of the odds makers I've talked with out here about it just think it will grow the market and introduce a whole new segment of the population of sports betting. And Vegas will always be the mecca, like making a pilgrimage to Fenway or Wrigley Field for baseball. People always want to come to Vegas, where all the casinos are all packed in on the Strip. And it will always be the big destination. I can't imagine people, having a big guys trip to some other parts of the country just won't be the same as coming to Vegas to watch the NCAA tournament. It will always be kind of a sports bucket list thing to watch the tournament at a casino, a sports book in Vegas.
Are you allowed to bet on the Vegas Golden Knights during the season?
Yes, you can. The NHL and with the Raiders coming here as well, neither league has requested. They could have requested a ban on betting with this, being regulated out here at the state's gaming control board. But there's been betting on the Golden Knights, and there's been a ton of betting on the Golden Knights, and obviously a lot of bettors are cashing in on them all season. And there's tons of liability and big tickets out there in them to win the Stanley Cup.
What about in the Raiders? You're going to be able to bet on the Raiders in Las Vegas.
As far as it is now, yes, you could bet on the Raiders. You could bet, as they have all the phone apps out here, you could be sitting in the stadium or out at the Golden Knights game and punching in progress bets when you're sitting there in the stadium.
You can't bet on UNLV basketball? Is that still true?
No, they lifted that ban years ago to prove that there was no issues with betting in Vegas, and that the casinos and bookmakers out here have long protected the integrity of the games that the leagues talk about. because if there's a fixed game, the bookies are the ones that get hurt along with the leagues. And so they just wanted to prove there'd never be an issue, and there hasn't been an issue in over 20 years since that ban was lifted. You could bet on UNLV in Reno.
Todd Dewey's joining us. He's a reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and his job is to cover sports betting. When's the last time you got the whiff of maybe a fixed game?
Well, there's some unusual line moves. It was a college game this year. I'm not sure there was a line move, but it was nothing to do with a fix. But I wrote a story earlier this year about some of the past fixes, going back to 94 when Arizona State had that point shaving scandal in basketball, and the bookmakers out here alerted authorities to that. And going back even further, Tulane, there hasn't been that many over the years uncovered. Toledo a few years back when they had basketball and football. I guess there's tons of tennis matches that's the easiest one to fix, and that would be in Europe, because in a tennis match, you could just say you're injured and bow out after a couple of games.
Where was Vegas on the Boston College sports scandal? That point shaving scandal, did that hit Vegas?
Yeah, the one with like Henry Hill.
And, yeah, and also Richard the Fixer Perry, who obviously had that big hot tub photo at UNI, kind of took down Tark out here. But that was more of a illegal bookmaker operation. So that's one of the things they talk about. That didn't hit Vegas. That was just the underground bookies, and that's what the legal sports bookmakers can always spot those fixes and alert authorities to them. But an illegal bookie, he'd be the last one to call the police and tell them about a fix. He'll probably bet on it, if anything. How much of a bath does Vegas take if the Golden Knights win the Cup?
Well, from talking to a few different bookmakers, the estimates is in the range of between $5 and $7 million on futures tickets to win the Stanley Cup. William Hill, which operates 108 of the 190 books out here, they're in to lose more than $1 million, perhaps close to $2 million. Stations Casinos, they ran a promotion where they give thousands of free futures bets on the Knights at 4-1 in April to win the Stanley Cup. They're going to lose more than $1 million. You have MGM, South Point, high six figures, and there's 4 or 5 other places with six figures. So right now it's looking about $5 to $7 million.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, what's a bad Sunday in Vegas during the NFL?
No, exactly. That's what speaking with Jay Cornegay over at the Westgate Sportsbook yesterday, he was saying, that loss is comparable to one of their worst college football Saturdays or NFL Sundays, where all the favorites and the overs are coming in.
Yeah,
but in terms of, I'm just going to say, in terms of it's looking to be the biggest futures loss ever for this city, where you bet on the teams to win the title before the season.
Todd, good to catch up with you. Hopefully we'll cross paths. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dan. Suck it back, bro.
That's Todd Dewey.
Wow.
Sports betting reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I'm going to guess he was familiar with the show a little bit there.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.